hidden, forgotten. This is Harbor Town. Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a new destination.
Uh-oh. Almost missed that. Getting closer. I see Brian on, huh?
Yep.
Read that story. You like that?
Yeah.
Oh, we still got 3 meat. Hey, really? Very sensitive. Thanks, Brian. Heavy breather tonight. This will come on a minute early. Sick. Just reset my. Turn my sound down a hair. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing well, Jay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Turned 52, which is really disturbing over the weekend. How's everyone doing tonight? Our other guest, I won't tell you where he was, but it was somewhere in the men's room at his house. So he will be on shortly. To discuss tonight, we're going to go back to our delving series, which we've gotten away from a little bit because of all this special stuff going on. Tonight, we're going to delve into the nature classes. Thanks, Naz. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, the big 5-2 on the 8th. I don't know where the time's gone, but hey, still have the hair. It's still not gray, so it's what can I say? But Mark and I are going to talk about that, and whenever Tim gets on, he'll get on. So let me text him again real quick here. Oh my gosh, I won't even put down I won't even put down what he just said in detail, in the great detail. Yes, Brian, thank you. I also see, let's see, I saw Rox on, Walt's on. Got a bunch of people on. Great to see you all. And tonight we're going to have a little fun with this. I picked this because I think, Mark, you will agree with me on this. Druids and Rangers kind of got pushed to the wayside a little bit, you know? There's yeah, Rocks, maybe 55. I'll be going down. I got 3 whole years for that then. So, you know, but yeah, I think we started going, you get to a certain age and, you're right. Things just start sagging, but so far so good. Hey, I got some things I can do for the time being here. So we need to get caught up on a lot of new followers and some new subs. Druids and Rangers are both original 1E classes. I mean, they're right in the original Player's Handbook. They weren't in the box set going back to Basic, but they were, they were original classes. And, when you got to 2E, and Leonard Lakofka, and there I got Leonard in early, so, oh, God, don't say that. I know Luke Curry died the same age as me at 52. I know, man. Leonard Lakofka said that with the specialty priests Nixel subbed up, so thanks, Nixel. Really appreciate it. With the specialty priests coming into second edition, Druids got pushed to the wayside. That's kind of true. But we're going to show you all what we did with Druids to combat that, and I think we got a really cool thing that we did, and we'll get to that. And so,
Well, and I'd even subject that Druids and Rangers kind of got pushed to the wayside in our campaign as well.
they did.
I mean, Rangers you don't see very often. I mean, there were a few here and there, and especially during the core Knight of Ulick years, because you couldn't join the knighthood if you had a character that wasn't good, and so since there was such an emphasis on doing that,
That's true. That's
there really
absolutely
wasn't
true.
a lot of Druids around.
Well, we kind of have won in the knighthood now because of what we did. And this
Right.
is another thing we're going to talk about, was we actually took it so that they could twinge, the Avenger especially that we made, could twinge up to neutral good alignment because of there was different factions running in the world of the Druid. So I wrote down a lot of notes, Mark, and I know you got them, but
Yep.
we'll start off with the Druid. I mean, that's really the one I want to concentrate on both, but I really want to delve into the Druid and what we've done, because I got books galore, guys. I mean, I've got every reference out. A lot of them are scrolling on the left, but if I need to, I can go to my source list here and I can pop these up real quick for us if we need to discuss or I need to pull up some stuff. Whoops, I hit the wrong button there. But we have a lot of books that I think you guys could utilize that will help you use Druids more in your campaign. And it's another thing. There we go. It's variety, right? So if you don't have the variety, oh, there's Tim. All right, Tim. Wait a minute. Let me get to gallery view. All right. Hold on.
I must procure a beverage, so I shall be right back.
Okay. Well, you can procure a beverage. I'll procure. Let me go for it. Go for it.
Give me 45 seconds.
Naz is very happy. You're on. So. There we go. I'll clean this up and I'll open this up a little bit. And so we got the ever mysterious Tim on. Let me zoom, blow this up a little bit. There we go. All right, cool. I look at it this way with Druids. It's a class that has a lot of power if you know how to play it. So we got our special book here for Druids, and even the Unearthed Arcana list of spells kind of sucks, right? I mean, there's a couple good spells in there. I mean, everyone loves Fairy Fire, everyone loves Barkskin, Entangle, but it's like, and their shape change ability at 7th is kind of cool. And they can do a lot of, that's a neat thing. It's natural. What is that? That's your copper mug. I was like, it looked like a candle or something. So Tim's dad really helped us on this. Back in the day, we used to photocopy everything out of the Dragon. So I get a whole compilation of spells. Now I went back and they completely ignored Druids in early Dragon magazines. I couldn't find any reference to one before this Dragon. Here, let me go through here. Dragon 65 has the Celts article, which we'll get to. You know which one I'm talking about? The addendum to the Celts in the Deities and Demigod. This one, Tuatha De Danann. That's in Dragon 65. This is a real good thing you guys should look at too, to using. And then this is the first references 119 that I could find on Druids. So I was like, my gosh, even the old school guys really didn't do much on developing Druids, which I found kind of shocking. I don't know about you guys, but I was surprised how far back that went on it. right? Right. So Tim, your dad helped us out because your dad is the Druid par excellence player, right? That's one
Yeah,
of your
he
favorite. Good.
we have family from Ireland, and he's interested in history and literature, and so he kind of knew the backstory. He knew Stonehenge probably has influences from the actual historical piece of it. So there's like a historical connection that makes it exciting and interesting for him. So
Oh, I did
that's
not know that.
one
Is that that's cool? I did not know that.
because I mean the original Druids were, I believe, they're just basically the intelligentsia of the Celtic peoples. So you know,
Neat, man. I did not know it goes back that far of your family. It's pretty cool.
I mean, we're not Druids, but I mean, it's just an interesting fact. I mean, unfortunately, most of the written history of them comes from Julius Caesar, and he wasn't a big fan.
Right. Well, yeah, he kind of yeah.
So he
Yeah,
pretty much killed them all. So
that's true. I will remember this when we went the first time I went to the Renaissance Fair in Tuxedo, New York with you, and we dressed up. Your father was dressed as a druid.
that's right. He wore robes. He had ivy wrapped around his staff. Of course, back then our goal was to be mistaken for people who worked there. So no.
Yes, and that's where
I remember him doing a somebody wanted him to do a little marriage ceremony on him, so he did like a little faux druidic.
He did. He married someone there. That's
yeah,
right.
Not officially, but it was a funny one.
We had a good time there. Well, your dad really helped us out, and I'll pull out one page of this. He created a Master Druid spell list, and I'm not sure the date on this, but he did a lot of detail on this, and he implemented all the packet spells that we had, and there's some great spells. Now, all right, here's a question. What is the most powerful, overpowered Druid spell that there is? But 5th level and less.
The overpowered one?
Yeah, the one that everyone's scared to death of.
I don't know. There's a couple of them that I can think of. One would be Wall of Thorns.
That's a good one too.
Confusion is a big one.
Yeah, but confusion mages have too. Yeah, right, Bill got it.
Way higher. It's
Bill
way higher
got it. Bill got it online. Call lightning.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that though.
Yeah.
They overpowered, but if you follow what the rules actually say, it's not really that overpowering.
Okay.
The weather's got to be right.
Correct. The weather has to be right. It takes a turn to actually cast, and you only get 1 bolt per turn.
Right.
It's great for an epic long-term operation as opposed to just one tactical battle. But
we kind of stretch it a little bit. We do.
If you want to go ahead and lightning bolt the daylights out of the steading of the Hill Giant Chief, it's right up there. It's good. That's a good one.
It is. And so that's an original spell. But as we got into the the point I was trying to make was there's 1 or 2 spells that deal out some damage, and it's die 8. It's die 8 plus die 8 per level. So it's like nasty, and you can cast it once a turn. But once a spell breaks, what's that?
You can't do it underground, though, can you?
That's right, and it's always bright and sunny when no, it's all completely bright and sunny. You can't do it, no. But I tend to allow the party players to use it. Well, John and your dad really did a great job in incorporating all the spells that we think of as base spells now in the Druid list, and they're not. So I'll give you an example. This one got used multiple times on Thursday night. Wild Deer Speed. Alan used that with Thorg. That's one that all the ceremony spells. Whether I just might as well go through the one that says peas on it, right? It's a lot easier to do it that way. Geyser, right? Another great spell at 5th level. The best of them all at 7th, Call Hunt. Yeah, Pummel. But Pummel, Bill, correct. Pummel comes from a different source, and that's a specialty Druid spell. That's not in the base Druid list. That comes actually from this book, I got books everywhere. It comes from this book, Glades of Death, right? A fantastic publication, 3rd edition by Sword and Sorcery / Necromancer Games. That is where we're going to get into what we did with specialty druids. But going back just to the base druid, you got a decent amount of spells. You also can summon any type of elemental, air, fire, earth, or water at 6th level casting. That's pretty good. You get fire seeds. You get feeble mind at 6th, right? They're good spells.
Yep.
Chariot of Sistar, Confusions at 7, Finger of Death at 7th, Stun Ray at 7th.
Don't forget, well,
Oxen Strength at 3rd, a huge packet spell we have.
That's a big.
That's one of the biggest defensive / offensive spells that we have in the game that mixes them in. So that was where we were with druids until we decided to take it one step further, because everyone was just playing it once again. Yeah, Bat Sense Bill is another one in the packet. Yep, good. Thank you for that one too. Absolutely. No one was playing straight druids anymore, and it's the same thing that happened with clerics. So we had to do something with that, and so we went to a special campaign. I don't think Tim ever participated in this.
No.
But Tim, your dad Edgeham, didn't he marry Skeeve and Lady Valencia Page, if I recall, too?
that might be.
Yes, in the when I was up with you at Watertown, he did that. So Naz puts out Druid and 5e for Wild Shape due to the animal versatility and some absolute BS on hit point potential. Yeah, we don't. That's one thing we don't do. You get healing. We don't change the hit point totals at all. I'm going to show you the Avenger, and I guarantee you're going to love this class because I love the class. Tim even has one. And Tim, I looked at the name of the character. You were disturbed. You know that?
What did I name him?
This character. All right. This character. I found. You have a fighter druid named Diomedes. We knew about that. 5/5, right?
Yeah.
You have a 6th level Avenger named Dirty Vessel. There's something wrong with you. There really is, dude.
You've got a little self-loathing to go ahead.
There's something wrong with you, man.
That's a great name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what you named. That's what you named him. So
he's kind of anti-human. He likes nature, and he doesn't feel humanity has a good role in it.
Yeah. That's true. And speaking of that, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, I got a lot of Pinterest pics on classes. I usually do that when we do these delvings. How come all the pictures are of hot females and old haggard males for the druids? I couldn't find like any young males. As no one. It's either hot female elves or and then it's old men as druids. It's really funny.
Yeah, they just don't. I mean, I guess the take on it is
like
you think of nature and fantasy that they're just that way, that the women don't age, the men overage.
Well, I think
it's the same thing in like Hollywood as well. I mean, if you watch any fantasy that has druids involved, they look very similar.
Yeah, I guess
every
so.
druid looks like Merlin, and every
two lines of thinking. There's a group of people that do pictures, and they, some people like to sexualize it, and they wish they were in the woods naked with the hot one. And then there's some people that think druids are wise, and so they naturally think of older. So maybe we should just get some people who don't have.
I don't know, but just I mean, there's some great artwork too. Some really fantastic druidic and ranger artwork we have here.
Actually, that's the first one that I've seen that is a halfling druid.
Yes, and I looked and scoured for a halfling druid, and I found one. You're absolutely correct. I did find one, and we do have a lot of halfling druids in our campaign. So yeah, that's true, Geiger. Absolutely. So this book is 2nd edition, a complete Druid's Handbook. We use a lot of spells out of it, but we didn't really get into a lot of the beyond that in this book. We're not really kit players, really creating classes. So we use this book a little bit. But this, like I said, this is the book that we really got into using with the spells, Glades of Death. So here's the story. We'll tell this real quick. we wanted to start up we have a Vespi Forest Druid group. All right. And there's all different classes. You don't have to play Druid, but there's Druids and Avengers. And the story is this. There's 3 high-level Druids in our campaign. Tim's dad, John, has Edgem. Garnett had Shuko Fish. And our other Bill had Tristan, the crazy Sylvan Elf Druid. And all the Druids in the Vespi Forest mysteriously disappeared overnight, including the Grand Druid, who was a Druid of Alana, I think, at the time. And then when they did auguries and divinations, and this was in the entry screen if you saw it, they're all sitting around a campfire, hanging out, just talking to each other. That's all you can see. And they're around this campfire. And go ahead, Mark, tell the story.
It's like the very beginning of Star Trek V.
Right.
Row, row, row your boat.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But they're inaccessible. So they're not accessible. They're not accessible at all for anyone to utilize. They're not accessible to do anything. They're out of the campaign, and the goal of these new low level Druids and specialty Druids and Avengers was to figure out what happened to them, try and get them back, and that's still going on to this day. So this is what we did. So Mark, you in that group have what?
So when we originally started that group, I actually had a straight Druid named Claylana.
That's right. Okay.
And I had an Elven Cavalier named Ameldor. And then that was right about the time when I went off and moved away from New Jersey again and came back to Ohio and got married and so forth. And then when I rejoined the group again, virtually, I added Amelia and I added Spooter to the mix because they were the ones that were going to fit probably the most with that, and neither one of them are Druids. Amelia is a reincarnated archer.
That's right.
That became a fighter magic user. That's a story in and of itself. And then Spooter is the very first Halfling Guardian.
Yes, he is.
User of the Merlin Spoon.
Absolutely. So what we did was this, and this is part of the thing that I want to get back to this group at some point. I'd love to do a one-off down the road, and maybe when we get Tim doing a one-off every 4 to 6 weeks on a Saturday night, we'll get him to play one of these play one of these Druids. Or I think you'd be a great Avenger, Tim. I really do. Maybe a Dirty Vessel, whoever you want. That'd be great, right?
I like. Yeah, I remember making and playing them, and I was inspired. This is a tangent, though. I don't. Is it okay?
Sure.
Yeah, it was.
The show's all about
by the toxic shamans from Shadowrun.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Yeah,
wow.
Toxic shamans. And so that's why I was inspired by that, because they're.
That's cool, dude. I completely forgot about you. I know you were big into Shadowrun for a time, and that's okay, man. There's nothing wrong with that at all. We had some fun in it, just rolling too many 6-sided dice.
Well, the inspiration was the idea, and so the Avenger Druids are if not toxic, then the reasons why they're Avengers is because of something toxic.
Right.
Yep.
Well, we kind of have a rule in ours that, and I'll kind of go over this real quick here. So what we did was this. We went into the Vespi Forest campaign, and they're starting to Defile Glades, right on the edge of Defile Glades, and they're going to start trying to take some of that back. We made it so there's specialty priests all over the place, right? In 2nd edition, we made specialty Druids. So this is what we did. We took this. There's 4 of them. Started with, of course, Alana. And Alana is... that's funny, Walt. Alana is... and we allowed them a little bit of a twinge in alignment. They could go neutral, neutral good, or neutral evil, depending on who they're worshiping. So the Alana faction in the Vespi was kind of like a little good aligned. The Rilithane Ralifil, which is the Sylvan Elf tree god, right? And Alan plays especially Druid of Rilithane Ralifil very well. Oh gosh, I can't even remember her name. Bill probably remembers her name. But she can turn only into a Kushi. So the cool thing is if you look through different references, they have their own abilities, like specialty priests have, to make them different. They have some different spells, so their spell lists are slightly different too. Then you have the two that can be considered naughty. Serenus, which is taken right from the Tuatha De Danann article, because it's not in the Celtic deities and demigods part. It's only in this reference on for Serenus. And Serenus is like visceral nature. There we go. Don't piss him off kind of guy. There you go, Serenus. See?
The hunt.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he is like the beyond the master. He's the master of masters, right? Of the hunt. So, and the other Bill, and a lot of other people loved the Serenus idea. So we went with Serenus, and then we went to the master of the hunt himself. Now, I'll be honest. I ripped off Malar in the Forgotten Realms Demi-Human Deities, or the one of those books, and used the Malar information. So they have the claws, they have all the nasty stuff, the Rage of Nature stuff, yeah. And they're all neutral evil. So you have different druidic factions going on in there, and it really works well. So there's flavor now to druids. Now, you can't multi-class these. There's specialty class druids. So, Mark, what did you think about that idea?
Honestly, I think it's a fantastic idea. I mean, if you're going to have specialty priests that are going to worship certain deities and they gain abilities through them, druids are no different. I mean, It's just a different religious sect, if you really think so.
I agree. I know, Tim, you haven't played them, but maybe you'd be interested in playing especially druid. But Avengers go one step beyond that, and I think that's where you would fit in perfectly. I'm trying to Lillian Longleaf. That was so. Alan's got a specialty piece of Rilithane named Lillian Longleaf, and Lillian has a weird thing that they only have one shape change ability. They get like a totem almost animal. She can only change into a Kushi, an elven dog, but she did that from first level. She had her shape change ability at first, so that was kind of a little bit of a change. It was kind of a neat thing. See, Naz, how could I be ripping off 5e when I did this in the 90s or early 2000s?
Yeah.
Maybe 5e's ripping me off, Naz. You ever think about that? So, beyond this druid, and this is our Avenger class. Now, I will admit, does anyone know where?
Ripped off too.
Of course. Where did we rip this off from?
Baldur's Gate, if I remember correctly.
Baldur's Gate 2 has an Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Avenger class is a hybrid elementalist, a little bit of elementalist abilities in a visceral druid. They have to worship one of the four. They get the specialty druid. Baldur's Gate. They get the specialty druid list, right? From whatever one it is, and they also get some special spells. I'll give you an example of a spell that was added in here. Everyone loves Silverlance, right? Silverlance is a great spell. That was added in, as Bill said, Pummel was added in. Branch Assault was added in. You get the trees and you get all. It's kind of like, remember the scene. Everyone knows the scene in Lord of the Rings. You know, all the trees, branches start attacking. Branch Assault's another one. Carnivorous Defender is another spell. We added a lot of offensive spells, but Serenus has some spells that are really kind of nasty. Spectral Stag, right? Jaws of the Wolf. So we got in. Oh, I'm sorry. Spectral Stag is actually Master of the Hunt, but Bloodlust is Master of the Hunt. So Spectral Manicore is Master of the Hunt. We got into a lot of cool, unique spells that we wouldn't have before. When I started doing all this research on where they're from, and mostly they're from Glades of Death. They're from Prayers from the Faithful, another great reference, 2nd edition, if you guys can get a hand on it, or PDF. Complete Druid's Handbook #1 is what you guys want to pick up. 2, Glades of Death. Probably get it pretty cheaply, too. 3, Prayers from the Faithful. Okay? Then these books, I mean, I stole from Forgotten Realms. Forgotten Realms. I mean, look, they're stealing from Greyhawk now, so what's the difference, right, guys? Faiths and
Right.
Avatars, Demi-Human Deities, Champions of Ruin. We've used spells out of all these books, out of all these references, to build up these specialty druids in the Avenger. Key thing with the Avenger, their tables doesn't go up as fast as druids do because they got a lot more training and shape changing. Yes, as Bill as Sashar Bill says on there, they start with -2 to strength and -2 to con. They're straight class only. Here is the specialty to this. Starting at 5th level, they can change into a huge spider. They get the attack rate of and the poison, and they get the hit die of it, so it actually makes their table increase. Plus, with the new spells we added, Magic Fang and Greater Magic Fang, you can enhance their natural attack forms. Also, you can do that with companion creatures as well.
Plus,
So,
those are scary.
you like that, Tim?
Of course, that was one of the things I was always like, yeah, because
Yeah.
you're you're an Avenger, so there's someone who's done something, so they probably burned some farm down, and you can show up at their farmstead in middle of the night, turn into a huge spider, and ruin their day. They'll never sleep soundly ever again after that.
Gygar, yes, this one, 119. 119 is the one we were talking about. The Dragon Magazine had a lot in the Druid. That's
Yes.
the one. Yeah, absolutely. So they have great changes, and we went through it, and they had some in Baldur's Gate, but they weren't as good. And I had to scale it up and make sure. Now they can do their natural. They can only get changed 3 times. At 5th, it's once. At 6th, it's 2. At 7th and on, it's 3 times per day. They can transform into bears still. They can transform into, any kind of natural creature they want. That counts as one of them. But they can transform into 3 different monster forms at 7th level. So Wyvern Young at 6th. So they can fly now, and their stinger has a poison. It's still +3 on the save. 7th is Sword Spider, which is a really nasty spider. It doesn't do poison, but it gets 2 attacks. So at 7th level, where druids get their shape changed, now they get 3 monster forms plus all their normal forms that they can do. And then it really gets interesting higher on. So 8th level Owlbear. That's pretty nasty. 9th, Winterwolf. 10th, Northern Bear, which is
they definitely do Owlbear because they got to get revenge for those genetic experiments.
Absolutely, and so that's the whole point of it. Yeah. So and then
they're evil.
Winterwolf. Then you got Polar Bear, which is Northern Bear. Then you got an adult Wyvern, 12th Treant, 13th Green Dragon. Now we haven't gotten a character that high. Alan's got Dude. James Reeve, which I think is the highest level one, he's 9th. And he's a Knight of Ulick because he's good, neutral good. He's the only Druid or Sub-Druid in the entire Order of Ulick. And that was just recently. So, it's a cool class. Now, they can't cast spells while they're in that form, but they can have spells cast on them. So, the Magic Fang is a great spell, and Greater Magic Fang was put in Glades of Death. I think Magic Fang's Player's Handbook 3 and Greater Magic Fang was an addendum spell, and we incorporated them both. So you can actually have +3, +4 to hit on a natural attack form, and it's only one, so it could be a bite, it could be a sting, something like that. Now, in addition to all the specialty priest spells, Mark, what else do they get? What spells? Because you're just playing one. You're playing Sylphir right now.
Yeah, so they get specialty priests, but they also get some elementalist spells too. So they get what's it called? Alpha's Star Beam, I think, and they get Lightning Blast and a couple of other things.
So there's a limited list of spells in the Earth Elementals and Quasi-Elementals, which is lightning spheres. And basically, they can utilize them to enhance their spells that they cast, but they can never have more than 50% of their spells being this, with the exception of if they only have one. So say at 3rd level, they can cast 3 spells. They can only take 1 Quasi or Earth spell from that list, and they got to get them written in just like a normal spell book. So there's 3 or 4 of them each level going up, and some of them are really nasty. Lightning Blast is nasty. You got Ball Lightning and Lightning Bolt at 3rd. You got Alpha's Knight of the Leonids at 3rd. You have Dig at 4th. You have Wall of Sand at 4th. You have Fist of the Element at 5th. Chain Lightning at 6th. Move Earth at 6th. Some nasty spells that they can take too.
Yep.
No fire spells really, doing burning down stuff, but Sandskin's another great spell bill, absolutely for defensive purposes. They get that at 1st. Hailstones at 2nd. Lightning Blast at 2nd. Maximilian's Earthen Grasp at 2nd. They got a lot of cool spells in that sphere of Quasi and Earth. So, Tim, what do you think about that, man? You think you'd like trying one of them out a little bit in depth down the road?
Yeah, I like Chain Lightning. I was rereading that recently. I was like, I was kind of wishing that I had it in Fencing Spellbook, but I don't.
Oh, that's such a shame. Too bad you're going to see it in reverse.
I'm not. He's Fencing's
I
personally
know.
but he would love to be able to inflict it on someone.
I'm trying to see who Dirty's deity was. So Dirty Vessel, Tim's Avenger, worships Serenus. So there you go.
Yep.
So, what about Sylphir? He's Rolfane Ralphil?
No,
Alana.
Yep.
Yes. So
yeah, he's one of the different sects of Alana that is not like, generally speaking, you think that they're kind of tame. He's
Right.
more of the type that says, you know what, we need to do stuff. There's stuff going on in the SUS that he doesn't agree with, and he believes that action needs to be speaking louder than words, and all he's heard all his life is just words. So that's why he is who he is.
But it's really cool, I think, in our new low level one that we have a Druid, straight Druid, and we have we have Avenger. So we have both of them. And what we did Thursday night in the last adventure, the Plague White's Revenge. They found the source of the Tainted River. They tracked it back, and then they saved the community from the Plague White, which they killed in the end. So it's good to have a mix of characters, and having outdoor characters works in that situation, and it also works with what we're doing with having a lot of outdoor scenes and stuff like that. So I really love the Avenger class that we put together. I don't think it's overpowered, because they're really -2 con, -2 strength to start's really a huge detriment. When they're fighting in their human in their monster forms, if they have rings of protection or lower armor class, but these armor classes, as you can see, 6, 6, 5. It's 6th level for a northern bear, for a polar bear at 11th level. I mean, they're not great armor classes. So if you're fighting in a natural monster, natural form like that, you're susceptible to getting hit pretty easily. So
I always imagine that their low strength and low constant is really because they're not really well balanced people.
That's
they're really intense about something, but it's kind of intense person that doesn't eat right, living rough. So they're not, they're getting sick. They have a lot of ticks on them, a lot of fleas on them. So they're not really well.
They have a picture up there that probably fits, that has a bug on her face.
Yeah, I love that picture. That's such a great art job.
That intense. The only way you could explain
something
is that they're a little unbalanced. No adventurer ever is a regular person, because just that whole job is crazy. But their method of thinking and all that is just a little bit more intense. So they probably don't eat right. They're always thinking about it. They're always getting mad. They're living rough. They're not doing well. And that's how I justified it. I didn't, of course, when I have a character, I don't want them low strength and constitution, but that's the only way I could work it out in my head.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's got a name like that.
Yeah, I think Tim's picture froze a bit.
Froze.
There you go. He's back. He's back.
I got a text message, and
it's okay, dude. You're way better than you. Connection's perfect. So yeah, as Walt says online, they lack social skills too. So it's good to see.
To blame, isn't it?
It's really good to see that we have some played in our new first level characters. They fit perfectly into what Bill's doing with Aylwin in the first Ulick Pathfinders, where he's creating a group that can be all neutral. It can be neutrals. They're not going to be members of the Knighthood necessarily, and then they can go out and they can do some special things. Silfir's alignment is neutral good, though, right?
No, he's neutral.
Oh, he's true neutral. Okay,
Yep,
okay,
he's true neutral.
yeah. So, I will, Mike. So Mike is part of the contingency guys that went to Gary Con and did the presentation. So I got to go to Grey Harkery and see how it went there. Hopefully, they showed our vid there, and but I'm imagining it went very, very wide. I know there wasn't a lot of question and answer time, Mike. I saw that in one of the things you said, but I'm so happy that I'm going next year. I've already gotten it cleared, so we're gonna keep this thing moving forward. With everything, it's less than 2 weeks away, the mega stream, so
Yep.
we're looking forward to it. So, what do you think on this story, Tim? I wish you had. Remember, you got back from the, Fort Benning or wherever you were training the morning of that. We went to see Mark in Ohio. Remember that? And we did the Ohio trip with Gary Scharf and the whole crew, Alan.
I didn't go to Ohio.
Walt.
I don't think.
No, you didn't. You didn't. That's what I'm saying. I wish you were here for this story that I'm about to tell.
Okay.
And this story is this. They're in the Vestby Forest. It's a high-level adventure. They're fighting at one of these Zoso symbols. I used to throw the Led Zeppelin symbols everywhere, right? The Zoso symbols all over the place. At one of these stones, they find out that this stone of control has this ability to slaughter whatever one activates it, the opposite alignment gets slaughtered that night, overnight in a certain large area of the forest. And they get there to the stone, and who's there? But Pookhead, the arch enemy, Sir Twix, and all his purple dragon, and all his. What year was this, Mark? Did you estimate back 93?
Yeah. So this would have been 19. I want to say it was 1990 or 91.
Okay. 1990 or 91, we're having this big fight. Out of nowhere, this crazy Serenish Druid steps on the middle of the stone, stands up, right? And just starts yelling, "I must preserve the balance," right?
Yeah.
He starts attacking everyone. And everyone just looks at me like, "Are you freaking crazy? What are you doing?" So this Druid, he starts casting Creeping Doom everywhere, right? I mean, crazy stuff. Then he casts Call Hunt. He calls the Wild Hunt, right? And then everything stops and everyone looks around like, "Oh my God, what's about to happen?" So let me pull this up real quick here. Yes, the hunt is called. The only time we've ever had the hunt, there we go. The only time we've ever had the hunt in our game ever been brought out. So the Wild Hunt is brought out for all to see, and every round, it gets a mile closer. And you can hear the horn blown by the Master of the Hunt. It wasn't Cernus running, it was the Master of the Hunt running the Wild Hunt. And every round, it got closer and closer and closer as this big fight's going on. So everyone's panicked. Mark, why don't you remember any of what happened there?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's panicked because we're not sure who it's going to go after.
Right.
At the end.
Right.
And then the other part was that, if I remember correctly, isn't that where the whole, was it a shadow dragon that came, or was it, there was a dragon that came?
Purple dragon. Purple
dragon that came, and the whole mole story, digging myself into the ground.
Well, don't you remember what happened? Wayne's character turned. Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say Sir Twix ended up killing Herbie again. So.
Yeah, third straight time he killed him when they both came together. But the purple dragon was going after Wayne's character. Wayne teleported away to get away, teleported into solid rock. Yep. But Gary Scharf's character was standing right behind, and the purple dragon killed him because he teleported away like a coward. It was really funny. After the 10th round, they see the Wild Hunt come. Now, if you look on the rules for the Wild Hunt, it's right in the deities and demigods. Yep. Now, I want to show you guys this. This is my functioning copy of this great book because last year Mark found me the 168-page version pristine crack condition, right, Mark?
Yep.
At a reasonable price. Now, whatever you may think was reasonable or not, it was pretty reasonable. I bought it. I'm not bringing that down. So this is my functioning copy of Deities and Demigods.
So yours had the Arthurian in it.
Yeah, and it was in perfect condition. This one that Mark got for me.
Melbornian,
Melibonian, Nawan, Cthulhu were all in it.
Cthulhu. Yep.
Yeah. Now in this one, there's rules on what happens when the Wild Hunt comes. So we follow those rules. It's in the Celtic mythos here.
Yep.
Right here. So the funny thing was, if I recall, it's the first thing they see. It was an NPC. NPC made a save. Then I recall, I think it was one of yours next, Mark, and you made the save.
Yeah.
And then our gnome illusionist assassin buddy Phuket, who was still around, he rolled a 1. And he's like,
we have not seen him since.
He took off. The Wild Hunt chased him, and maybe he got away, maybe he didn't. But that was the end. The Wild Hunt just went whoop, turn. He took, I mean, at full speed running away. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I hate that guy.
Yes. So the Wild Hunt, we've only ever had it in our game once. I recommend it for everyone. Go back, get a copy of Deities and Demigods, read up what happens, and do it.
Then your question you actually have, it's in the Deities and Demigods. So if you get the opportunity to go and take a look, even not the pristine one that Jay has, it's in the other one as well.
So
take a look. It gives a really good description.
Naz doesn't know what the Wild Hunt is. Okay.
Well,
go ahead, Tim. Explain it.
I want to throw this in here too, because if you have an adventure or maybe a build up in the campaign to something that's super significant, some big event, world or cataclysmic or regionally cataclysmic, or just some big thing that's building. It's also, I've been in some games where you see the Wild Hunt in the distance. It's not coming at you, but the fact that the Wild Hunt is around is a big deal, and it's a harbinger of something massive and big, and gives everybody the heebie-jeebies. So you can put everyone on edge when they see that's in play. They're like, uh-oh.
This is one of the best stories written. Here is the story on the Wild Hunt in the book. Right here, see it? Okay, and then you have the Master of the Wild Hunt and the Pack of the Wild Hunt giving you the rules on how to do it. So it's in the Deities and Demigods book. I'm assuming it's in Legends and Lore, so you don't need to get a real super expensive copy. I'm assuming it's in there. In the Tuatha De Danann supplemental, this out of Dragon 65, it adds rules to put Serenus, the deity itself, in there instead of the Master of the Hunt. So just pull this out of Dragon 65. Have yourself a whale of a time. Really messing up some. Right? Can't have. Hey, Elterworth, how you doing, man? You can't have much worse things happen. Like I said, we had it one time in 1990, 91, and the bad guy, the ultimate antithesis in the campaign at the time, had the hunt go on him, and it was hysterical. Along with a lot of other things that weekend.
Balance was made, right? Balance was achieved.
Balance was made, man.
Yep. The balance was definitely preserved.
Absolutely. So, it's a memorable. Oh, look at that, dude! Altair, I turned 2 days ago. I turned 52. So your birthday 2 days later. We're both Pisces. Cool, man. Happy birthday to you too. Yeah, Mike. I'm freaking old. Mike, I love doing it. Cthulhu, Tom, and Melnibone, they did not have license for them. They had license for Nawan. They didn't have, if I'm pronouncing that right, but Melnibone and Cthulhu, they did not have the license to. A pristine Deities and Demigods in that larger version is now worth about $300. Okay, so I'm assuming you can pull the PDF, but it's probably the 128. You don't need Melnibone or Cthulhu for the hunt stuff. Like I said.
But the old ones are cool.
Absolutely. Cool, man. Happy birthday to you, Altair. That's awesome. So that's a good story. we will throw in, and I will do this occasionally. Tim knows this. Mark knows this. All my other viewers on. I will do some high level that kills off some of our high level characters permanently, occasionally. It could have gone bad that night. It could have gone after party members, and it could have wiped out the entire party. It was the luck of the die that night. It was fate, as you may say.
Yes.
So
it was one of the
when the
grand
dice,
things that really irritated Jay in the end of the day.
yeah, but Wayne's character teleported in solid rock.
That's
So
made
it was, it was yes.
Jay, that was part of the maintenance of balance. That had to happen.
Exactly.
And for those of you that watched our show about maybe a month ago, where we just did story time.
Yeah, Tim was on that one too.
That was the same night that Alan wrapped a pillow around his hand and beat the shit out of Jay.
Because I killed Herbie for the
Killed
third
Herbie
time.
again.
So if anyone's watching our new campaign now, the White Tower, which is north of Winchester's Bulwark, that's Herbie's Keep. And that's his character. He's like 15th level Paladin Cavalier. But this Sir Twix guy, I guess I was thinking Candy at the time, killed him on 3 straight high-level adventures. And I guess Alan had enough of dying from Sir Twix. Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good story, guys. I wanted to tell that one. It's a classic in our history. So some other high-level druids. One of the most underrated but very powerful druids. We may see him on the mega stream. We may not. It depends on if we have any other no-shows. Tim's dad, John, has a halfling. Druid Thief. 1212. Probably the highest level druid brought up from first that we've played in the last 25 years. Named Petronius Niger Took. So probably not one of the most unique names, but Petronius is a very nasty character. 12th level druids get 7th level druid spells.
Well, he's a nice guy.
He's a great character. He's a nice guy, absolutely. But I would not want to. Druids are one of the classes, they get their highest level spell earliest, right?
Yeah.
Priests don't get 7th level till 16th. Mages don't get 9th level to 18th.
And
right?
the druid experience points is lower than a
straight druid. Druid's the easiest class to level in 1st, 2nd edition, even quicker than thieves.
And actually, that Dragon 119
weaponry
about that too.
What's that, Mark?
That Dragon 119. Mm-hmm. There's an article in there that talks about underestimating druids, which is a really, really great article to read. And as a DM, you have to be very careful about what you allow your druids to get away with. And I know this personally because Tim let me get away with an awful lot with Greenleaf, where she had a lot of a animal army that took care of a lot of things. So, yes, they go up very, very quickly and can get pretty nasty if your DM lets you. So.
I don't remember your army doing tons of stuff, but it's fun to have around.
Yeah.
So, Nixel, hey, there you are. Good to see you. Thanks for subbing. Just in time for the drawing Thursday night. Perfect. Real quick, Thursday night, during Carlos Lysing's Adventure Mushroom Blue, we'll be giving away to our subs a $75 gift certificate to Miniature Building Authority, and all followers who are on at 11 p.m. are eligible for a $25 gift certificate to Miniature Building Authority, and that's this Thursday upcoming. So it's our quarterly, giveaway from our sponsor, MBA, and they're very good to us, so just wanted to put that out there. I'll say it again at the end of the show. So, besides Petronius, it's hard to think of some high level. I know Alan is very big on druids. So Lillian, I think, is 9th level in that Druid Vespi group. Dude, which is his Avenger James Reeves, and his best friend Sweet, which is my NPC Thad Bliss. He's a Renche, and we haven't even talked about that class yet. Oh my god! But he's an Avenger, and I think he's the highest level Avenger in the campaign at 9th. That's been brought up. So that's how new the class is. What's that?
I had a druid in again, this is one of in the campaign when I was off at college. And it was outdoors, and it was kind of I don't want to say it's military, but it was outdoors, and ambushing, and a druid with entangle, even against higher level groups that are outnumbering you,
Yeah.
you get some entangles thrown out there. It just is it's a game changer.
It's kind of like the area effect stinking cloud, or the whole person from a priest. I mean, but entangle has got a large area effect.
Yeah, and so people are slowed, and as they're trying to get out,
Yeah.
you have all your fighter dudes with pole arms just pole axing the heck out of people. So it's good times.
So speaking of that entangle, the first 2 adventures, my bounty hunter mage in the low level group, when she went, Kendra the retriever, got entangled by her own party twice. Right, the first 2 adventures that she ran on, and she got pissed off both. Failed her save both times. Got in the area effect. I mean, it's a large area effect, so it's a great spell. Druids, used properly and used with a lot of not stealth, but used the right way, not overdone. We try and limit animal companions because this is what I do, and this is a Tim rule. This is the pack bearer rule. You bring your servants along. You bring your pack bearers. You bring your low level creatures with you. Jay, as a DM, is going to find a way to slaughter them.
That's true.
Exactly.
Well,
So
if you bring low level ones and you keep them safe, and you make sure they're not major players, they have a chance.
right, or the torchbearers, Eltorth, they're going to go.
It's more like a role play thing if you keep them off to the side in the back.
Absolutely,
so they can make lunch, but not really kick the door.
And that's what they're for. They're for the role play aspect of it. But and in some cases, like we have Miss Wolves in the group, the Druid group in the Vespi, and they haven't had a chance to play them yet. But I'm going to let them mess around with them a little bit because it's like 6th, 7th level right now, and it'll be okay. They've been fighting the Master of the Hunt people. They've been fighting Eas. They've been fighting crap coming out of the Defiled Glades, and also there's a tattoo. One other thing we brought forth, and last thing about this is there's a priestess of there's a Druid of Obadiah in the middle of the Defiled Glades still. Hasn't left, refuses to leave. Another thing that's in the 3rd edition reference books from Sword and Sorcery is tattoo magic. So a lot of these druids have tattoos inked on somewhere of their body, and they can use them as a special once per day effect, almost like an innate spell ability. We've brought that into the game a little bit too. We've made it, and the rules on that are based on your con, so it's not abusive. So it's like some healing spell does 1 point per level for 8 points max, stuff like that. Resistance to cold, and so that is it. Yeah. So Walt has Fenric, a Druid Thief, 10/10. Now that's good, but Druid Thief of that level is decent. But Petronius at 12/12 is nasty, man.
Very nasty.
And a lot of the old school druids, I'm trying to get everyone to play their old characters as much as possible. We brought a lot of old ones back into the new campaign. Tim's coming back with super old characters in 2 weeks in the mega stream. John will be back with at least Abdul, maybe Petronius. So we'll see some old school guys coming. And we'll just keep it going with throwing in some old campaigns here and there, with hopefully what I call our Saturday night special one-shots down the road after the mega stream. Right, Tim? Every 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to get a Saturday night free. And
I'm thinking Fensig is actually literally 40 years old.
Yes. All right, so
real years.
Well, I want to talk to you about this character because, Mark, I know this is someone important. Rangers. We'll go to Rangers now. Grim. That's your 7th level Ranger. Who is this? Isn't this someone else who used to be a different name? No, I guess it's not.
Are you talking to me or Mark?
It's your character.
All right. It's a I had Grim actually in a college campaign, and then I think at one point we were playing a game at a certain level. I don't know if I brought him up from 1st level in our campaign here.
Okay, so he's not. Who am I thinking of that had a high level, super old character, and then you renamed him? Was that yours, Mark? Gloom?
Yeah,
Who had Gloom?
Railstone.
Oh, Gloom Railstone. My apologies.
Yes.
My apologies.
Yeah.
All right.
Grim was the guy I was mentioning to you earlier today.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. Excellent. Any other questions on Druids, Avengers, Specialty Druids? Once again, we are very generous as usual. I'll send you some information if anyone wants information on what we've done. As long as you just say, hey, where it came from, I have no problem with that. We love to get out we'd love to get our information, our old school 1E2E stuff out to everyone. I have no problem with that. So you guys either have a final Druid comment?
No, just at the end of the day, they have a real place in the campaign, in my opinion. They are an awful lot of fun to actually play. I think the hardest thing is not to recoin the phrase of you got to preserve the balance, but really do. That they don't really give a rat's rear end, in my opinion, about anything else other than what is happening in nature. They don't, as long as nature isn't getting, burned to the ground, so to speak, then generally speaking, they don't care what happens in the rest of the world.
Well, that's the nature of a neutral character,
Yeah.
a pure neutral character.
Well, I think neutral character basically means you're pretty much selfish. But I think for the Druid, the neutrality is about looking at everyone's perspective. I think in the historical sense, they would be the great arbitrators. People had an argument, and instead of fighting to the death over it, they would bring it to the Druid, and the Druid would hear it. And because they're just going to hear what everyone's points of view are, and then they're going to weigh it and come up with a solution that's neutral. It's not, I'm not leaning towards this way or this way. I'm just going to hear what you have to say and be fair about it. And so I think that's the neutrality of it. They're looking at nature. It's like, hey, we're not going to save all these herbivores because the carnivores do need to eat. So it's fair. The wargs are a natural animal. We got to let them run free. But when the goblins start riding them and doing too much damage, we got to do something about it. All right, we got to cut them back so that the wargs can run free and wild.
And that's what's cool about the Vespi. There's a lot of druids like that deep in the Vespi forest, and we've played them. And that's the cool thing. You have that Beastman area. You have so many different factions going on in that Vespi forest that you can have that Druid.
For good role play opportunity. I'm sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. Finish that.
A lot of good role play opportunity because, yeah, everyone wants to go kill the bad guys, but what if the adventure isn't going and killing the bad guys, but the adventure is trying to convince the humans in the city that want, they give you a couple gold pieces per pelt to say, hey, we got to convince the humans that you can't just kill them all down to nothing because they're part of the whole balance in the ecology. They don't really get ecology. So that's a tough sell. So that would be a hard adventure right there, convincing the city people not to go out and slaughter every last one because you need them, or the herbivores will eat everything, and then they eat all the farmers' crops, and now people are starving because the imbalance. So it's a lot of opportunity for a lot of nuances and a lot of role playing opportunities, as well as kicking butt opportunities.
So we've had two good questions, so we're going to keep on Druids for a second. Greyhawk Mike asked, would it be selfish in that they would only take missions that affect nature? And I said back to him in chat, it would be tough in an adventuring party just because of, and that's why we tried to do an all Druid kind of base group, so it was all nature. But when you have Druids mixing in with Paladins and mixing in, it's tough. And we found that Druids like Petronius are working for the cause of the party a lot and don't even realize it. But I guess that's just what happens with teamwork, right?
Yeah.
And then,
right. I mean,
yeah, go ahead. You want to elaborate on that? I mean, it's true.
I mean, he's working out for the party, but he also is keeping an eye out on, hey, we're not going to just we're not going to burn down the whole forest to kill that tribe of orcs. We're going to do some other technique because we're not going to burn a forest down.
Right.
He'd be speaking up for the.
And he did. It always watch like and he and Alan's character. Oh God, the gnome, the illusionist thief.
Oh,
I know. I know. That's how old we're getting, guys. But Alan's got a gnome illusionist thief in the Iron Brigade, and you'll see
It's not
him.
Boyd, right?
No.
It starts with a. Does it start with a G?
Oh my God! All right, so in the Iron Brigade, you'll see him in 2 weeks and during the mega stream. And they don't like each other. The gnome and the halfling go back and forth. Kroger, thanks, Bill. Kroger, BlackRock. They go back and forth at each other, and it's tough.
Sure.
What he is, but that's it's like Alan. If he was able to, that's how Alan would like to be if he was like Jungle Boy, or you know what I mean. If Alan was let loose in the real world, it's Alan, right? It is. It is. It's Kroger is Alan if he could be an evil person, even though he doesn't think he's evil. Remember he poisoned the well in that one adventure, trying to kill that whole army.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of stuff. So, and multi-class druids really throw another loop into it. So Naz asked, how do your players use druids on a quest when they're non-interventionists? And it's simple. For the betterment of whatever the goal of the party is, as long as it's not something against their ethos. And I don't really do party goals that are against the druid's ethos.
Generally, an adventuring party is going against something that's already an imbalance.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's an example of that, Naz. Carlos Lysing's module he wrote for it, one of two, by the way. Mushroom Blue. The druids are going to have, there's going to be a quest in here that they're going to want to do that Carlos wrote into this very nicely. If any of you have read it, you know what I'm talking about. But we're going to start this on Thursday night. And if Tharg or Sylphir go on this, they'll want to take care of the situation immediately that's in here. So just let you know. I recommend at least one, or if not both, go on this adventure for that reason. We know Tharg's going to go because Tharg is supposedly Garth Warmonger's son. So we know that he'll be going on that adventure. So there's a goal in there, and it's a dual quest. Sons of Groomsh are going to be around, and this other thing that the druids are going to want to take care of. So that'll be interesting. All right, Rangers. A class that was played a lot back when we started 1E. Multi-class the hell out of it. I mean, there are a ton of multi-class Rangers. Lost its way when we started weapon specialization. And then we've kind of come back with it. That sound about right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, so Tim, I can only find the only Ranger ever that I have in this folder is Grim. I couldn't. Do you remember of any others?
And Grim was actually, again, it was a brought over from another campaign I had. He fit in regularly in the college campaign, because the college campaign I ran, it was basically the unifying theme of the group was operating behind enemy lines,
right,
in an occupied area, and so everyone was trying to look like they're trying to recruit people that would be mistaken for evil, and so it was all out. So you had a lot of unsavory looking characters, a couple half ogres, half orc, you got some dark elves, and so you had that. But there was also a ranger in the group because it was all outdoors. It was all like patrolling outdoors at night, and so he fit right in. So
it wasn't that long ago you played this character in my campaign. First off, he's old school still. He's got +2 banded. The newer Rangers claim we're up to study with two-fisted fighting. He's got a Karn the Hewer, +3 longsword keen, massive crit die 6 reroll 6s, with prayer and berserk rage on it as special abilities. So it wasn't that long ago that this character was played. Now that long ago means 15 years.
Yeah.
But this sheet is ancient. I mean, look at how old that sheet is. I mean, it's like it's browned off and everything. But
yeah.
So and Mark has Swain's third kid is a ranger, right?
Yes, she is.
Ember Alta. Talk about her.
So Ember Alta was a character that I wanted to try out because it's the new ranger type. as opposed to what we traditionally were raised to actually have. And some of that is because I hadn't really played a lot of Rangers in my actual, if you will, wheelhouse. I was never really a big fan of them, honestly.
How dare you?
The whole concept of them was that they're bowmen and they're trackers and stuff like that. So to me, it was always better suited. You'd have an archer and a bounty hunter, and so I was never really that keen on them. I know plenty of other campaigns that I've either played in or have seen. The Ranger is like huge to everybody. So at any rate, I wanted to give the class obviously another chance. And with her, it's more about the actual role play of the character more than anything else.
Sure.
So she found out that her mother is actually still alive, technically. For those of you that have watched us religiously know that she is the offspring of my character Swain and the Dragonlance Lorana. And
don't ask Cal, guys.
Yeah, once again, it's kind of a long story, but she is in Greyhawk away from her mother because to carry the storyline, Lorana was too afraid that if the Queen of Darkness found out that she had any offspring that were still alive, that she would use that to leverage Lorana however it is that she could. So
my failed attempt at the DLs.
And was raised up by her sister and others.
Yes, so I love the character in that group as well. It's one of our newer adventuring groups. And that group has a lot of bow characters in it. It has some archers, has a lot of them. And Bill is the par excellence player of Rangers in our group for the most part. I see them as, and Tim has made up has enhanced the scout class, and I want to talk about that before the end of the night. I see them as still trying to find a niche for them. Yeah, because with all the classes we have, bandits, bounty hunters, right, and even thieves a little bit. Multi-class thieves, Ranger kind of gets lost sometimes. So we kind of gave them multiple options, and it tends to work for our campaign. Early on, like I said, we had a lot, like one of the most powerful Rangers in our campaign, who actually has Anna put down, it's called Ranger Hold in Selene, is Alan's character Arathorn. Of course, another unique name that Alan has back in the old days. And Arathorn is a Ranger 11th, Magic User 14th, brought up from 1st. Half-Elf Sylvan. And then Walt has Stefan, Half-Elf Male, Ranger Cleric. We also have a ton of Ranger Thieves. So there's a whole lot of mixing up of multi-classing with Rangers as it's allowed in the 1st and 2nd edition rules. Straight Rangers kind of got lost in the mix there again. When we were playing, when we came back, when weapon specialization came in, you had to be straight to get the benefits of weapon specialization. So what we did was this. The 3rd edition Ranger kind of was like the special two-fisted fighting, almost like a swashbuckler type.
Yep.
They can only wear up to studded leather. We allowed that incorporation in. What's that? Yeah, boo. We kept the old Ranger in as well. Just made sense to us. So what we did was the following. They have the weapon specialization. They get 2 specialization slots. Fighters get 3 in our game. Paladin fighter class, not Cavaliers, get 2. They don't bestow extra attacks. It's +1 hit, +2 damage, +2/+2 at short range for bow, kind of the deal, if you want to take that. So they can get +1 hit, +2 weapon. They get 3 attacks every 2 at 8th, just like, and then it's like at 15th they get 2 every 1. They get that 2/8 to start, which is a huge boon. But they don't. The old school Rangers don't get this innate two-fisted fighting unless they're wearing that studded leather or lighter. And at 9th, they get the improved two-fisted fighting. We've kind of back incorporated some feats into our proficiency system.
Yep.
So there's 2 different styles of Rangers out there. I still say there's as many old ones as new ones. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah. Well, and I will say, based upon the notes, you left out two of the most important Rangers out of the list.
I probably did because, once again, I just turned 52. So
And honestly, I will say this because it makes Bill absolutely sick to his stomach. The Love Fest Rangers of Copus and Heather.
Oh, that is hysterical.
Yes.
Then the Grey Company and Greyhawk, yeah, and Naz knows about this. Yes, Copus, Millstone, and Heather are like the lovebirds over there, and it drives the entire
Yep.
party crazy. And they're not Heather. Yes. Yes. No, I completely forgot. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and they're Rangers in Greyhawk City. So
Yes, and they're old style Rangers.
old style Rangers. Yep. Absolutely.
I
Go
want
ahead.
the old style Ranger is there's overlap with like you said, the Bandit and these other characters that are outdoors. But if you think about the Bandit is basically, they're selfish. The reason they're doing it is for their own gain. So they have some skills to avoid humans and do whatever they're doing.
Right.
The bounty hunter, they're out for themselves to get paid for catching, and they happen to join an adventuring group. When you think of the Ranger is like, they're the dudes protecting everyone. And let's be real, it's based strictly off the Dunedain from Lord of the Rings. I mean, let's be real. That's what they're based on. And everyone thought Aragorn was alone until suddenly a Grey Company, showed up, and there were hundreds and hundreds of them.
Oh, I thought there was like 20.
No, he had a full-on company showed up. It was a large number of them. Maybe not hundreds and hundreds, but certainly over 100.
Yeah.
And they showed up, and because they had been keeping things at bay, so they're out patrolling. They're out keeping the orcs at bay, the giant kind of whatever. So they're really, it's small unit tactics and military, keeping the enemy at bay to protect the other people. Then they happen to join an adventuring party to do similar type things. So,
and that's probably why there's that one line in the original player's handbook: no more than 3 Rangers may operate together at any one time. There's that one little line in the player's handbook.
I would disagree with that. I'd say, it's like a military type unit. Now maybe they like to operate, but
yeah,
I don't know. Because I was in the Army, I have this.
Well, and you were a Ranger in the Army, so
Yes, I am Ranger qualified. I was not in a Ranger battalion, but still, that's what they're doing. So they're specializing at killing the specific enemy that they're out there. They were, that class was designed to fight certain types of enemy, and that's what they're doing. And then they're joining a party, but the majority of the NPCs would be out doing their thing. So
there's a lot of there's an alluring romanticism to Rangers when you think about it, right? It's like kind of like cool. They're out there, they're weather beaten, right? They're out and they're doing something, and it's kind of, once again, in an adventuring party, it's kind of tough to show that, right? Because if you're off all the time, you're not in a group adventuring. So adventuring parties tend to break rules all the time with character classes.
Well, they're in a special task, and they're functioning with another group of people. But they're also they're the smart fighters. They're like the woods people, but they're the smart fighters. They're smarter. They can use spells at higher levels. There's just a lot more.
Now, Bill's character Aylwin just turned 9th level and just got knighted at full knight in the high level adventure we did back to the battle site a couple weeks ago, and he's forming the first Ulick Pathfinders, which is this group. He's a ranger. So, he's forming this group of, trackers, and a lot of the adventuring party, the unnamed adventuring party, will be part of this group. So, absolutely. You're absolutely correct, man. There's only so much you can do in the game where the game will get redundant and boring. Absolutely.
Yep.
So, here's another difference between the new and old Ranger is the favored enemy.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be just giant class, right? And I know Tim likes it that way, and I can understand why, because it was a wide range. Goblins all the way up to giants, right? Trolls, everything was in there.
Hey, all their vitals are in the same place.
Right. But they changed that down the road, and some of them don't make sense, but for variety, okay. Undead, there's classes of favorite enemies now. So you get one at first, you get one at fifth, you get one at 10th, and then the stats start up at that point. So when you're first level 1, you get +2 to hit and plus level damage. And the other rest of them are +1 to hit, and then starting at 5th, +1 damage, working up from there. So you don't get giant class altogether now. You can get giants or you can get humanoids. You can't get both to start.
Yep.
You can get, if you
That
want,
makes no sense.
aberrations. You can get demons. You can get all sorts of things. Reptiles. I mean, you can get demi-humans. Who's the one with demi-humans in our group? Someone's got demi-humans. Is that Alan's character? Kelvorn?
Might be. I thought it had to be specific demi-humans, though, still.
No.
No?
Obviously, he's thinking of Drow, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a way to go with that if you're hunting Drow. And a lot of people, Gygar, you're right, prefer the old school one. Merrick. It's Bill's character, Merrick. Another ranger that Bill has. Bill has a boatload of rangers, guys. Boatload of his bandits, archers, rangers. Got a whole grouping of that. Which one's your archer ranger, Bill? I mean, I said I'm showing my age here, but that's right. All right, so this story makes sense. Merrick hates the Prince of Ulick in our campaign, and hates the princess. The prince has this secretive group, the Highwaymen. They go out. They're bandits. They're dwarven bandits, and they harass humans. They harass the Order of Ulick. So his favorite enemy is actually demi-humans for that reason, dwarves. Because of what's going on in the campaign.
Because he's after the bandits.
Right. And that makes sense.
Target.
So that's kind of the way it is in the campaign.
He's trying to service those targets.
Yeah, absolutely. So just think of it that way, and that's why it is that way. And so for variety of role playing and stuff like that, I can see where it's different. A lot of people prefer the old Rangers. We allow the old Rangers. If you want to play an old Ranger in our campaign, you could do it.
I just have a hard time justifying, okay, you can track really good, but you're fighting demons. Why? They can teleport without error. They don't need you can't track them. They can fly. They can do it.
But you read too much into stuff as it is all the time. You look for the nuances. You're the
wants to fight demons, be a paladin, and man up and paladin up.
You're the Star Trek disbeliever and would pick apart every Star Trek episode for all. I understand.
I love Star Trek.
I know, but you understand what I'm saying. You're looking for those nuances that don't make sense in the rules, and I understand that. No. And Tim also, guys, in 2 weeks, the Islandfeld head will probably come out about 10 times, right? Right. This head's going to come out about 10 times, guys. Oh, by the way, so we have this new, we have this. Any subscriber can use the Order of Ulick symbol now. It's a tier 1. So this head's going to come out. The No Just No head will be coming out multiple times on the 23rd, but we'll see. So when Physic's going to do something, then I'm going to have to say no, just no to it.
He's not like some of the other guys. Come on, man.
Yes, but
I'm just chaotic, though.
I'm busting your stones, man. But I understand that stuff doesn't make sense, Tim. It doesn't, and demons and that stuff doesn't make sense. There you go. Good job, Jeff.
So I think I can give you a twist on that.
Go ahead.
And Tim, you're the one that brought it up. So if you really think of a ranger as more than just the woodsman type, that they are really more of specialized types of fighters. Okay? So their entire goal is to help trace and eliminate specific types of groups.
They're patrolling the borderlands. They're patrolling the wilds.
If you think of them only as a forest dweller, but if you think of them, it's similar, in my opinion, to like what you have with like undead hunters. That they're paladin types, but they specialize in specific things like undead.
Right.
Or and that's what I'm saying is that if you think of them as more than just the forest kind of ranger, and you think of them as specialty groups, then you could maybe justify the concept of having specific groups that they would be training to be trying to eliminate.
I would suggest changing the undead hunter to be a demon hunter, because the ranger inherent to the class is tracking, right?
Yeah. Look, the undead hunter is working extremely well in our campaign. And maybe we'll add a demon hunter down the road. Maybe. Mark
Yeah,
has
instead of making
suggested
a
it, or Mark has suggested it previously.
Yeah.
I love the undead hunter class that we developed, and we talked about it in the delving into the paladin episode. It works perfectly. I understand that there's a lot of ranger favorite enemy stuff that makes no sense. Who the hell wants to take aberrations? Who's going to be fighting frickin' green slimes and adiugs and black puddings as their favorite enemy?
I would say that would be a great druidish spin-off because they are aberrations of nature.
Yeah.
That's the aberration. But
Yeah, I mean, and Bill brings up a great point
Yeah.
that
That's
Shieldland
another-
Rangers would be doing it, hunting the ears. It makes sense. So, Rocks, that won't happen. So we're not going there. Rangers are never going to get the multiple attacks as fighters, because what we did with weapon specialization was you can't take it unless you're a straight class. So you have to be a straight fighter, straight ranger to even get the +1/+2, straight paladin, fighter subclass, a straight undead hunter. There's no multi-class options. You don't get weapon specialization in that case, and it works. And like I said, out of 39 years, it works for balance purposes. But I'll say this: we've enhanced the ranger. We've allowed a lot of different options. With one thing we did was this. We gave them spell ability earlier. Okay. So this table's for paladins and rangers. They start off at getting at 4th level. They get spells. Plus we give them their wisdom bonus. Okay. So at 1st level, if they have even a 14 wisdom, they'll have 3 1st level druid spells at that level. Okay, at 4th level. So they do have some enhancements. They get the mage spells still at 9th, but they get the druid spells a lot earlier. We also allow, and this is with all of the fighter type classes like paladins and rangers and knights that we have, if they worship a specific deity and that deity has a specialty priest spell list or a specialty druid spell list, they get that list, not the generic list, which means they may have access to some really cool specialty druid spells. So if the ranger's worshiping Alana, they get some of the Alana spells. They can get the Cyrano spells, or they can get the Master of the Hunt or a roll thing. There are only 4 we have in Ranger and Druid. And we do that for all the other classes. Paladin could be worshiping Uko, or can be worshiping, right, whoever, Paylor, whoever, and they get access to those spells. Kind of gives them more spell capability. So,
and I'd like to ask a question about that. I'd like you both to weigh in on it. So one thing I've never understood about 1st or 2nd edition Rangers.
Right.
I could understand the concept of giving them druidic spells, very similar to how a paladin gets clerical spells, because it's a natural concept, the 2 of them working hand in hand.
Okay.
What I've never understood was why a ranger would ever get mage spells. To me, that always seemed very, very foreign, and was just something that, in my opinion, just never fit. But I'd like you guys to weigh in on it, just to.
Go ahead, Tim.
that's because, let's be real, they're modeled on the Dunedain and Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings, and we all know how awesome he is and super smart and had lots of abilities and all that. So there's an intrinsic desire to make them that way. They're not just like dudes that roll around the woods. If you want that, that's the bandit, or
Right.
that's somebody out there. These are the guys. They're intellectuals. They're a little bit smarter than that. But they also So I think that's why they did it, because it's more than just woodland light fighters. They're more than that. That's what I think.
It's a conjecture that we don't see that many rangers getting up that level, and usually they take shield or they take magic missile or sleep. Sleep is that
Yeah.
level's useless, right, for the most part. So it's kind of limited as to what they're taking because they get some first and second level spells. If they're multi-class, like Arathorn, the ranger mage, I understand your point. But we've kind of offset it with the lower level druid spells. And we put in the zeros into the list. So, for example, right if they get to 5th, right off the bat, if they have a wisdom bonus, it's 0 spells, but they get the spells if they have a wisdom bonus on it.
Mhm.
So, if they have 15 wisdom, they're getting a spell at 2nd level, right off, at 5th. So, that's why I kind of filled it in with those zeros. So, we've given a little bit. Plus, we've made that hybrid archer ranger class again back in vogue, and I know Bill's looking at it. Or it's minus 10% off the archer table, and it's difficult, but it's one class. It's just called Archer Ranger, so they don't have to go up in both. So we have that option too, where you can have a nasty, and that was what it was. Leonard Lakofka meant it to be that kind of way, and in his addendum article, he actually talks about that, and that should be coming out. Icarus should have that coming out in Greyhawk Online shortly. Leonard's article on the Archer and the Archer Ranger and things like that. But you're right. There's a lot of why in the Ranger.
Yeah. It just to me never seemed really to fit because to me the classic Ranger was not from Lord of the Rings. The classic Ranger to me was always Robin Hood. That always made much more sense to me.
He was a bandit.
And once again, yeah, I mean that's. But if you think of the concepts about what the Ranger class was intended to be,
Right.
That's what felt more in line. But I agree. Yes, he probably in the first edition before Dragon 4 came out, and/or the Best Dragon 4, and/or the appropriate Dragon magazine that pertained to it, the bandit was not heard of.
Yeah,
So,
Mark, I would argue that you think that because all the drawings of a ranger always look like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Every bit of
to a
artwork
degree, yes.
like Robin Hood, a big bow and a hood.
But then
Yeah.
remember this, that and Leonard Lakofka knows more than us. He put down in the Archer article that Robin Hood was an archer and not a thief or a ranger of any type.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
He was
yeah.
a very smart guy,
Yeah.
so he was always one step ahead.
So
of everybody.
that's a tough call. And so the Ranger is one of those that I think it's one of those work in progresses. And if someone comes to me with a good idea, I'll listen. But if you think about this, so they take a specialization in a weapon, they take a specialization in bow. That increases their range by 30 feet on bow, right? All the rangers go 30 feet in longbow. They get +2 to +2 at short, +1 at medium. They don't get 3 arrows, but they get those ranges enhanced. It's a pretty good character all around. They get the tracking ability.
Early on, they're dominant in hit points.
They're dominant in hit points early on, absolutely. I think they actually end up with one more hit die than a fighter does at higher level, and they're a good class. It's just they're not the stand and deliver melee combat guys. They're not. Now we've seen multi-class two-fisted fighters with abuse on, and it's got to be the one in Harby. Kelvorn, is it, Bill? It's undead, and he does nasty damage to undead because he's two-fisted. So yes, Bill's absolutely right. They fill a secondary combat role, and that's where they're meant to be, which is okay. Not everyone's.
They're ambushers. They've been following people up, and they're ambushing. And if they get druid spells, they're doing entanglement, and then everybody's lighting them up with bows.
And they move silently and hide in shadows. And we made this. If they wear studded leather, there's no penalties, because studded leather is the best they can do. They don't have that negative that's in their arcana. There's no penalties at that type, where they are. So it's a good thing. It's it's a class that we can make some changes to it still, and that's all right, So, what you guys have any other fun comments on that class? On the Rangers?
No, I don't have really anything else. And I can't say, once again, a lot from experience because I don't play them very, very often. If I was going to play, I think the benefits of being a straight fighter in our campaign far outweigh being a straight ranger in the campaign because of the number of attacks that you get. Who really cares about the spell ability? I can still be a two-fisted fighter that starts off. I mean, frankly, if you really wanted it, could specialize in weapons and really abuse it that way, so to speak. So I don't really see that there's that much that would, other than the role-playing aspect.
I actually was thinking of a character class as, I don't know if it would be a subclass of ranger or but this concept I was thinking of putting into writing was commando or skirmisher. Probably commando, something like that would be a subclass of ranger where.
Well, Tim, we might as well talk about this now. Tim has submitted to me a class to take a look at. It's a rework of the Scout, a thief without the thieving. Why don't you talk to us about some of the changes you made to this?
Do
you remember what the dragon this is out of?
It's almost directly from a dragon
Okay.
article early on, with a thief without the thieving, and basically, do you need a character who can pickpockets? Maybe you do, but generally not necessarily. So it involves all the subtleties of the scouting aspects without the pickpockets.
Right.
As it was originally written, it had at certain level you got some of the back protection from like a barbarian.
This has to be post 83 because it says refer to Ernest Arcana in it. So it has to be post 1983. Right. Okay, cool.
And it had also the thief acrobat stuff, but it didn't have backstabbing, and so I didn't care for that. I'm like, if you're a scout, I'm thinking of the scouts that I've known in reality, attacking from ambush and being able to jack somebody up from surprise is important. So I took out the acrobat stuff, and as I added it, I put it back in the backstab, the back surprise attack. I changed the weapon list. It was originally written up.
So basically, this is almost it's its own subclass, kind of like some of the things that we have. Like it's a hybrid between a ranger, a sentinel, because it's got back protection here, detect illusion, right? A little bit, right. And it's got a barbarian skill here and there.
Yeah, and they're out. Okay. They're definitely outdoors, and they're definitely scouting ahead and remaining hidden when they're scouting ahead. I think their advancement is kind of like a thief, and their hit points are that of the six-sided.
Okay, I see they can only wear leather padded stun leather elven chain. So 9 or 12-inch movement rate. I mean, I'll take a look at it, and maybe we can play test one and see where it goes. I'll let you do it, and play test it, and maybe we'll pop it up in a little bit higher level. During an adventure, we'll bring up someone in some place. But it looks. I mean, I don't see anything here that jumps out as a problem.
It's not super unbalanced. It just means you're not. I mean, if you need to pick that pocket, you had luck.
Yeah, and it's all the races I see.
Right.
It's all races: elf, dwarf, gnome, halfling, half-orc can even do it.
And it would definitely function better than using a monk as a scout, right, Jeff?
That's a good one, man. Yeah. That's excellent. So I appreciate you doing this, Tim. I really appreciate you taking the time to bring me some new content here. It's always good to have that.
But I would think I would think a commando would be like a scout, but it would lean more on the fighter side.
Right.
it would lean away from the sneaky side and more to the fightery side with some of the, so it'd be similar, but the flavor would be more towards the fighting
Well,
and less towards the subterfuge.
I
That's
think
what
it's. I think this would be a subclass of fighter, just like the bandit is. I think it's more a subclass of fighter than a subclass of thief.
right. So, I
Bandit,
mean,
yeah.
do you think it should be attacking on the fighter table?
That I'm gonna have to take a look at because
Right, 'cause
bandits do fight
the
attack
advanced,
on the fighter table.
they
This one,
do?
bandits fight attack on the fighter table.
Right.
Yeah,
But if you look at all those, I mean, I'm looking at the skills, I'm thinking bandits don't get, double, triple, quadruple damage from back attack.
they don't. They don't.
Right. And so this one does. So, I mean, you're.
That's where you got to be really careful.
Yeah, I'm thinking that if it gets that, it's on the thief table.
Yeah.
But
I think
that doesn't mean that they can't still. It's like I said, it's a hybrid between a lot of classes, and there's I see the experience table looks like the thief experience table. So it probably So there's some things that I will look at on this, and I would be more than happy to get this in and play test it out and see what everyone else thinks. I won't show it to Alan because he won't remember what he had for lunch the day before, so it won't matter on. But I'll have Bill take a look at it. I'll have Tom take a look at it. I'll have Walt take a look at it, and I was just busting Alan's balls. So we'll take a look at this. But another outdoor type, definitely. Oh, there are my notes.
But his specialty, he's got tracking is the other thing because he's a scout, and their specialty is tracking.
Right.
Indoors and underground. They're not so good outdoors. They're more like going into things because they're trying to suss out where people are at.
Which tends to be the issue with the bandit too. When you go indoors and underground, you lose. They can't do shit, right. Except for one in the campaign. And who's that? One who used a wish.
Then I don't know that one then.
Compost. Walt's bandit, who's mulching compost, Pete Moss's kids. Yes, one's a bandit, but he can use his abilities underground because he used a wish. Yes, hey, compost.
That's a great wish.
Yeah, he used it very well, very wisely.
Good use.
Yes, absolutely. So, nature-wise, what do you think, guys? You got anything? Other discussions? Let me see if I got any other notes here. Got the books we all used here. So Rox wanted this again. You're going to use Rox if you're still there. Hopefully you are. You want to use Fine Glades of Death. Okay. It's Sword and Sorcery. It's 3rd edition. It's great. There's some great spells in it. Great reference. You want to find the Complete Druid's Handbook. All right, and then you this one is one of those green source books. I haven't really delved into it too much. It goes really into detail with some monsters and some of the Celtic history beyond the article in the Dragon magazine. Here's the Celt campaign source book that if anyone wants to utilize, that's you got to get that. That's tough. Those green books are tough to get, but that would be another good one. Not a necessity though to have for the Druid. And then you really want to flesh it out with some of the Dragon magazine. You want to go through and go to that Dragon number right here. I'll flip through it. This one. You want to go to this Dragon 119. Pull out all the information you can from Dragon 119 as well. That'll get you started pretty well on your Druid, is those references. In addition to your Unearthed Arcana and your Tome of Magic and your Player's Option book, you really want to get all that stuff for second edition and compile it with these options. But the most important book out of all of them is this Glades of Death book. It's been used very well. It's a fantastic reference. I loved all their stuff. Absolutely love their references. So let's see, 9/11, cool. Anyone have a story they want to tell about Druids or Rangers? I'll tell one if you guys don't have one. I have a real good one.
Go for it.
I only have one from college.
Go for it, Tim. And then I'll tell mine.
Well, it's
Glades of Death, Rocks. Glades of Death.
it was about the campaign scenario was operating behind enemy lines, and doing patrols. The party was demi-human kind of heavy, but it was generally the shady types people. So half ogres, half orcs, a couple drow, and
Right.
if they're moving around at night, half ogres got long range infravision. Drow, I mean, nighttime and is
They have
like
ultra
daylight,
vision too.
so they can see super well. So they were dominating humanoids and humans at night, and they had one or two druids with them, and there's a party of men at arms with a knight, and so you got 80 guys on a road, moving up a road, and so they would do ambushes, and so it was a pretty large party. But you're entangling couple entanglements and a couple other sort of area effects sort of spells, even low level, and they are decimating. So I mean, and they're Ranger was in there, and so they're Ranger shooting people left and right, and that's the perfect kind of character, in that campaign. People get away. Well, who's going to find where they went? Ranger's going to find where they went. And so the Ranger's going to follow them back to either their rally points or their other hidden areas where they're, putting their stashes, or, maybe you're not going to siege the castle, but they have a secret location somewhere else.
It's more subterfuge over brute force.
You're going to find it because your Ranger's going to track them. He's going to find out where they are. Where's the kidnapped princess? Well, you're going to, the dude that delivered the ransom note, you're going to follow him through the woods and wherever and find out all the meeting locations. And, and so that's how we use the outdoorsy types people in that.
It's awesome. And, here's mine. We did something a long time ago with the Frost Barbarians. King Hungrid, remember? He needed assistance against the Snow and Ice Barbarians, and it was a high level. We had Tristan, Bill Eilenfeld's, and he would sleep every night in the fire pit while it was burning because he had a ring of fire resistance. He was blue tattoos all over his body, and he would sleep in the lit fire pit. Remember that? Okay.
Yeah, typical Bill.
And then you had Edgem, your dad's, and they stood on the precipice overlooking this town, and they both cast Call Lightning. And they were just like down and just wreaking havoc on weather control and all this. Yeah, a Call Lightning on the keep. Bill's right. And it was something to behold, because that's a lot of damage. When you're 11th level Druid at the time, 12 die 8 is a lot of damage, man. And yeah, it was, and so, if we remember, King Hungrid was successful. Walt's character Ro ended up marrying King Hungrid, staying up there, and now we have all those kids coming down, and they're adventuring in all our groups now, and that's how long it's generational with us. So that's where we are with that. But that's my high level Druid story. But now those two Druids are still by this campfire at night, just sitting there chatting away, eating, talking, enjoying themselves. And it's the night that never ends, and they're sitting around this campfire. And only Shuko somehow has gotten out of the campfire, and now has this bar in this outdoor bar in the Shieldlands.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the Shieldlands at Critwall.
Yeah,
and no one knows how he got out. He doesn't even know how. But that's the story on my Druids, on high level Druids. So pretty cool. So let's talk some announcements here. Why don't we? Mark, what do you got going on tomorrow night?
So tomorrow, some may consider it more of a maintenance night, but I think that it's something that's key and important for those of you that have watched. So to prepare for the March 23rd stream that my group is going to be participating in, the intent is we're going to go through a night of actually creating characters and going through the actual lists of the different characters that you can do, and giving people the opportunity to kind of see it. So I will state that yes, this may seem a little boring up front, but it is also something that you could use if you're interested in actually watching the creative process in it. So, that's going to be in our typical 6 to 9 slot. The intent is to give a backstory as well of where they're going to be at in the Shieldlands. While we were sitting here, I was actually doing some backups in Realmworks to show some of the characters that they may encounter. And then also doing some updates to be able to show the race and class list so that people will be able to see that online as well. So
I'll be there in the background in case there's questions anyone has, like what the heck's a duelist, or what's a Renche,
yeah.
So
and the background story behind it, the people want to put into their characters, want to make sure that they understand this is the area that they're going to be in. You're not going to have like a lot of drow running around. You're not going to have, you probably are not going to have like a lot of druids actually running around,
but maybe.
If they can come up with a backstory that makes sense, we'll do so. And it will be a little bit of, so for the 23rd, it's really going to be a lot less of the actual action. There'll be some that will go on. It'll be more about the actual role play.
Right.
Because that's our participation in it. I've got a really, in my opinion, really good storyline to hopefully carry it through.
Yep.
And carry those 4 hours along.
But you're going to save that story for next Sunday.
Yeah, that is correct.
Absolutely. So this will be cool. They're going to divide treasure up from the end, and then they're going to go into new characters, making up Shieldlands. You're going to do 2 for each or 1 to start?
I'm going to just start off with 1. And actually, the cool thing is to my understanding, we're going to even have a new player. So there was a gentleman that wanted to join us, and it was perfect timing. So tomorrow night is supposed to be his first night.
Beautiful. That's excellent. That's good to hear. Jeff just told me he can stream Twitch, but I can't connect. His internet's down. Nice. I will be very quiet because I'm going to be running around. My son's got soccer practice. I may get there late, so we'll see anyway. So, but just it'll be cool to see new characters being made online from scratch. I think it'll be a neat thing. I will be moderating, so I will be talking to people online about what's going on. Then Thursday night, once again, we go to Carlos Lysing's. Thank you, Carlos. Yeah, who's coming, Marco? Jeff said, who's the new person coming?
Yeah, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. They ran it past me on Friday real late. So
is he work at your place?
Yes, he does work.
Okay, there you go. So Mushroom Blue, written by Carlos Lysing. It's got a really great storyline to it. We're going to start this Thursday night with a new adventuring group. Let's hope the new adventuring group has a name, but it'll be assigned. Aylwin will assign it as a first Ulick Pathfinder's mission. They're gonna. The synopsis is they're gonna have to go to Garth Warmonger's tower, and there's a problem there as they're building it, and that's what we're gonna find out what the problem is, and we'll start from there. 50-50 shot we get it done. I'm thinking we're not. We'll finish this up the week after, the Thursday before the mega stream. So that will start Thursday night. But the big thing Thursday night, don't forget, is the next Miniature Building Authority giveaway for us. Subscribers will have numbers, and we'll do a raffle. Subscribers don't have to be on to get the subscriber $75 gift certificate from Miniature Building Authority. Kirk actually sent me them ahead of time. This time I have the gift certificates already. So anyone who's a subscriber and is not closely affiliated with the group or the party thing will be. So Tim, you're still eligible because you're not playing on a regular basis. So you're still eligible.
But I was thinking about Thursday though.
What, coming?
Well, I was seeing if I can do it online. I don't know.
Oh, well, the answer is absolutely.
I'm thinking it's a good. It may be a good scout option.
Okay.
Test that out.
All right.
Try to out.
Well, you will talk to me during the week about that. So that may be the answer of that. Of course, is absolutely yes. So, Bloodied Brethren is probably the name right now. That's where we're looking for. The Bloodied Brethren, which makes kind of sense of this group. So we're going to start this adventure on Thursday, and you may be coming in as a new character that wants to become a member of the first Ulick Pathfinders, and you're going to meet up with this other group of adventurers. That's a perfect way to lead in. So yeah, Tim can try and keep Marco awake too. Plus, it'll give me another person who can moderate from a distance too, which I need all the time because I need to keep my attention on the game going, moving forward to keep it moving.
Yeah.
We have our new overlays on up. I have my spring ones. The winter scenes will be gone. We're going to start getting into springtime now. We're getting into some nicer terrain as far as seasonal. So I'm working on that. I have the terrain up, but Carlos was nice enough to do this one. He did another adventure called Warts and All. Afterwards, we'll run that down the road. He says he's going to make a third one for me too. All right, so Mushroom Blue, you'll see that this Thursday. Then we get to next Sunday. Gabbin at Lord Peakshaven, number 37. I'm super excited about this. The three of us hopefully will all be participating. Will from Return of the Bandit Kingdoms will be participating. Bree from the Greyhawk channel will be participating. Any other special guests, Anna Meyer will be on. And we're going to do our prelude to our mega stream event. We're going to talk about each 4-hour period, what we're doing. Give you a little tidbit as to what's going on. I'm probably looking at running one of the most difficult fights I've ever done. It's going to be very difficult. My guess is mine will go beyond the 4-hour window, but it doesn't matter. We're the finale. But we'll talk about our characters. We'll talk about what each one is up to. We'll talk about hopefully we can raise some good money. And that'll be at this time slot next week, next Sunday, number 37. It'll be a prelude to the 16-hour mega stream. As many people as I can fit on here. I can fit anyone who wants to participate who's in the game. It's more than happy they can come on and we'll talk about what we're going to be doing in the
next
mega
week,
stream
right?
next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday, 7:30 to 9:30. Right now, all the DMs are participating. Anna's participating. I asked Will if Adam, his main player, wanted to participate. Any of our players who want to participate, talk about their characters. Yeah, Bill, at least your characters won't die. Tim has said he's really worried that you did all this terrain and you're not coming now. He's scared.
I'm thinking that you kind of got some sort of insight. You're like, oh, I'm now busy.
You know more than they do. That's how my carrot to get you to play was you know a lot more than they do. But I have something secret that no one knows. You'll all see on the 23rd, starting at 8 p.m., you'll see something that would be shocking to all of you.
It doesn't matter. Knowing doesn't limit the terror.
Yeah, it's gonna be full of terror. I can't wait. It's gonna be some great terrain by Bill as well. We'll see all that, and I'm gonna get some pictures out. I took some today, but he's got more terrain coming this Thursday, and then I'll really get the layout done. So yeah, he's got scouting trip, so he will not make the final on Saturday event. But other than that, his contributions have been profound when it comes to everything with the terrain. So guys, what's that?
Schedule conflict. Good job with the schedule.
Hey, because he switched up, he won't be there. Mark gets to play a second character now.
Yeah.
Mark gets to play two. He's only going to play one. So Mark and Walt now got second characters jumping in. So good for them. I am also switching my NPC, and Tim knows, but no one else does.
I forgot already.
I know you did. I told you who. Yes.
No,
it's not Michael Baton, Jeff.
I remember something, but I forget.
It's an oldie, so we'll see. I may tell everyone next Sunday, but yes, I'm changing it up because
I remembered that it was more significant to the people who have been playing more regularly over the past couple of years.
It's significant to the whole group, our group of players. It's very significant, and there's no point in bringing Kieran Winchester, the monk, if her side piece Marcus is not there, right? Because she has to protect Marcus. Well, Marcus isn't there to protect, right, Bill? So no Marcus, no Kieran. So and Elijah Winchester IV dies every time in the first 2 rounds, so that's no fun. So I may
fire, so maybe that's handy.
Yeah, but I may bring someone who is used to dying. Let me put it to you that way. That's a hint. But I may bring someone who's used to dying a lot. So you can think about that. But I'm only going to have one NPC in the whole thing, no matter what. So, guys, thanks, man. This was a blast. I really am glad we got through the Druid and Ranger. We have some delvings to do, and we have some other ideas. And, guys, people who are watching, Fritz, no. Fritz is only third level rocks. Fritz would die like this, and Fritz would be hiding the whole time. This is going to be so nasty. Um, there's going to be spells that they're going to just have to stand there and take it because there's no saves. That's how nasty it's going to be. But it's going to be fun. But Naz is so Tim. The Naz has come up with a Gabbin idea. We're going to do this after the mega stream at some point. He wants us to critique his campaign and some of the things he's doing. So we're going to have Naz on in picture. Hopefully he doesn't scare the shit out of us. Just kidding, dude. Just kidding. That was a joke. But we're going to have him on down the road. But I want you guys to I want you guys to come up with some other ideas. If you want some other topics you want us to bring up with, I'm not out of topics, but I love the participation that you all bring. This is a group talk. So, the Naz Rat has come up with an idea. I'm going to do it. And I have a couple other delvings I want to do. But we need to delve into Shadow Mages, Wild Mages, those still. I think we need to do specialty spellcasters. The pillow effect. So we're going to do that down the road, and we may do some of these specialty. We'll delve into some of the weirder classes too that we have. That you see, like we did talk about Maester and the Dark Arts, but we'll talk about some of the other classes. I think we're going to do a delving into our proficiency system too. I think we really need to cover that. How we took feats from 3rd edition and how we moved them into proficiencies, how it works for our game, how we added in extra proficiency slots. I think we need to talk about that too. But so next week, that's what you have. We're gonna talk a prelude to the mega stream, and then the week after that, guys. I'll be in Florida for a business awards trip. I'll be in Captiva Island. Sorry. So the week after the mega stream, that Thursday we're off. I will be coming back to Sunday. So we'll probably have a Gabbin after the mega stream. We'll have a Gabbin the week after, but there'll be no game that week on that Thursday because I'll be in Florida. So, guys, thanks. Thank you, Tim. Any final words, Tim? Anything you want to say?
The old Ranger is the best Ranger.
That's fine, man. A lot of people like Geiger. A lot of people agree with you, and that's perfectly fine. You could still play that too.
Yeah, I know.
You can still play it.
I didn't have any other pithy statement to say.
So that's good. But I appreciate you hanging in there for the full 2 hours on this. Thank you so very much. Like I said, next week's going to be a very intriguing discussion on this mega stream event, and I've been broadcasting the ads all over the place, so people should have seen them. We've had some donations already. Thank you very much, Mark. What do you think? Any final words?
Just the usual. Just keep gaming out there. Love the opportunity to mentor people for the things it is that we've done. Tim, as always, absolutely fun to get to see you.
And the addition doesn't matter. It really doesn't, guys. Nope. And I know there's a lot of 5 years out there. Brian, Naz, I know you're 5 years. It's fine, man. Hey, it's cool. Brian's starting up a new Greyhawk campaign. It's 5e. It's great. It's not a problem with us. So I think we're going to hit Skagith with a raid. What do you think, guys? Let's hit Skagith tonight. We're going to hit Skagith with a raid. So everyone, hang in there. Let me set this up. But from everyone here on Lord Gazumba channel. Oh, one last thing. There's talk. A couple people in high places have told me I should switch our name from Lord Gazumba to like Knights of Ulick, Order of Ulick. What do you guys think about that? Just think about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Just think about it. And we may do that down the road. We may change the channel name to Knights of Ulick, Order of Ulick. Maybe. Just for name recognition out there. Everyone goes, who's Lord Gazumba all the time, right? But, it's kind of unique. So we'll see. That's a possibility down the road. It's not going to happen overnight. All right, guys. Here comes the raid on, let me set this up. Let me just go over to my, over to my dashboard real quick. Give me 1 second here. He'll appreciate this. Everyone knows Skagith's a great guy. Let's hit him up real quick.
Yep. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Everyone, thank you so
Good
very
night.
much. I'm on the right page. Whoops, I hit the wrong button here. Boom, boom, boom. Rating now. See you soon, guys.
Yep.
Should have gone.
Yep.
Awesome.